Good morning, people. Hope everyone is having a great morning. Hope that everyone is doing well this morning and is blessed. On my way to work, and a lot of things happened between yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening, and this morning. So just wanted to touch on a few of those things. Well, yesterday, Mr. Bill Cosby, most of us know him from the show on Channel 4, or the Bill Cosby show, as Dr. Huxtable. He yesterday was found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault on Andrea Constand, which was the woman who brought up the charges against him, stemming from an incident that happened in 2004 at Mr. Cosby's residence in Pennsylvania, I believe is where he resides. So Andrea Constand, she was the only one that actually, out of all the women that brought up these allegations against Mr. Cosby, she was the only one that was still within the time period of where her statute of limitation had not run out. So he was found guilty of 3 counts of let me read this correctly, aggravated indecent assault. So that being said, I know there are a lot of people who feel, like this is a setup, this is a conspiracy to try to bring another black person down, and specifically another black man down. And I get all that, and I get that through years and through decades that there have been a lot of foul play in regards to black people with power and so forth and so on. I've heard all the theories that, because he was trying to buy NBC, that they wasn't going to have that, so they concocted all this stuff and got all these women. I've heard it, the whole gamut of it. That why now? Why are they doing this to him now? So forth and so on. I've always heard a saying that said, where there's smoke, there's fire. Mr. Cosby admitted to giving these women Quaaludes, which is like a hallucinogenic drug, gets you real high or whatever, without their knowledge. Quaaludes, as they will call it, and then end up having sex with them. And many of the women said that it was involuntary sex, that they didn't come to him to have sex. He would have these private meetings with women where he was supposed to be counseling them or giving them career advice, and then at the end of these meetings, there was a sexual encounter that many of the women said that they did not agree to. So this is what we're looking at, and this is the reason why Mr. Cosby was found guilty, because of these same actions. Well, we have to put, I believe, and I could be wrong, and I know some people are going to disagree with me, but you could agree to disagree. We could agree to disagree. I don't think there's a limitation on when someone does something to a person that might change their whole life, or their whole view on life, or their whole view on men, or whatever it might be. Sexual assault is sexual assault. I'm not saying that some of the women were not lying, but I don't think that all of the women were lying. I think, yes, there were some opportunists that came out and try to get their piece of flesh, because they know he has a lot of money, and they probably were with him voluntarily, but they figure now, since the avalanche of people are coming out, that they might as well hitch they cart to this horse. So they're taking off with it, and they're all trying to get their piece of flesh. But I don't think all the women were lying. I don't think that everyone is wrong. And the question we must ask ourselves is, if he's guilty of even committing one of these incidents, let's say that the other 499 people all made up the story, but he was guilty of one, then should he be prosecuted for what he did and found guilty? Because now we're talking about people's lives and how you change people's lives and people's mentality. We often, we often defend people of great stature, especially black people, because we know what this people have done in bringing our people down from, slavery, from wherever, whenever that time is, slavery, and all these times where our people have been oppressed, and sometimes we just feel like we need a victory, but we can't put to the side the act that was done, and if there was something that was done that was wrong. We always have to come back to right and wrong. And we can't justify wrong and say, well, they've been doing this for years to us, and such and such and such and such. You can't do that, because the slave master raped and did all types of stuff to our mothers. It doesn't give the right. I don't believe that it gives us the right to commit a crime of like that, rape or to any woman, because that's just morally wrong. We're not supposed to reciprocate the wrong that they did as far as something to that extent, because that's crazy. But I'm getting off the topic. He was found guilty by a jury of his peers, and people are gonna say, oh, a jury of his peers. I don't know who the jurors were. I don't know how they looked. I'm sure that his lawyers make sure that he had some black people on the jury, because he had enough power and enough money to get what he wanted. Obviously, when the jurors heard this and they heard his testimony, they found enough evidence to say that this man was guilty of this lewd act. So, just saying that to say that, let's just look at the facts. Let's not put our emotions in it. Let's not look at the conspiracy theories. Let's not look at all those things. Let's just look at the facts and try to figure it out from the factual evidence as there, rather than the celebrity and the feelings that we have about Bill Cosby, or our personal feelings that we have about anything else that has to do with it. Just look at the facts. And if the facts state that this man is guilty of all these things, regardless of how old he is, then justice has been served. Now, I'm sure he's going to appeal, and in the appeal, they're gonna go about it wisely and try to get certain things brought out to light. But nonetheless, he was found guilty. So leave your opinions. Let me know what you think. Like I said, you could disagree with me, but there is no but. I mean, we all agree to disagree. Sometimes we see things from a different perspective. You might bring something different that I might have not seen. But from what I see, I believe that the man was guilty. He was guilty of something. So I leave you there, and I'll see you the next time. Peace.